Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Tina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh my God, what a question for being in the US right now of how am I? I am so many things right now. I'm mad and I'm confused and I'm scared. Most of all. Most of all, I'm scared.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find some calming thoughts even to get me through this because I feel like I'm just waiting for something bigger to happen. I mean, obviously, it was
Yeah.
terrifying. Last Wednesday was really, really scary. And mob mentality is really terrifying because people do what they wouldn't normally do by themselves, in a mob. So it's
Yeah.
scary to witness, and we've witnessed so much violence and so much hate and anger and in the news in the last year. And coronavirus, really being scary for all of us. So a lot of this I feel like is a distraction from the virus itself and what's going on with that. We find all these distractions because we're scared, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing I'm feeling, I guess, is scared. So I confuse that with anger and revolutionary feelings like everyone because you're scared.
Yeah. 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 Volatile time for Americans right now, that's for sure. And I'm in Canada. So um, in a way, I want to say like I'm lucky because I'm not swept up in that energy.
Yeah, it's
I'm on
hard.
the
Yeah.
outside looking in, but it's like I feel for you guys. And part of me too wants to say, like, I I feel that fear for Americans. And it's like
Yeah.
I told you yesterday when we had our chat, I said, Julie, I want you to stay home as much as possible for the next week and a half. Like, and I want you, and with your job, it's like, please don't go to the courthouse.
Yeah, I appreciate
Right.
you.
And I
Yes.
don't like, when I tune into psychic energy, it's like I don't like going down that path, but sometimes it's like, well, that's part of the reality of our world, and that's what's going on. Like, it's
Yeah.
volatile. And so anybody listening, and if you are in the States, like, I recommend staying home as much as possible. Like, it just doesn't feel safe in your streets right now, and leading up to the 20th, right? Because
Yeah.
I feel like, what took place last week at your capital is kind of like just a taste, because I feel like there's going to be more violent protests.
Yeah.
And I
There
feel
will
those
be.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel those, I don't know if protesters is the right word, because I feel like they're not protesting.
Terrorists is what I call them in my mind. Yes. Because they're
Um,
inflicting terror. And I don't know what other word to use for that because there are
yeah,
always peaceful ways to
yes,
get what you need in this life. There is always a peaceful path to, and that always works more. Violence will never get you what you're looking for. It
yeah,
just won't. It's been proven throughout, over and over throughout history, that it doesn't. You never get anywhere with violence. It's only the peaceful resolutions that bring us growth and
right,
progress. So,
yeah,
but it's inevitable, obviously, when you look back through history and these things happening, these events. I can clearly see the Civil War now of brother against brother. You think, well, how could that happen?
yeah,
How could people let themselves go so far to turn on their own brother?
right,
But then you see it real time and it's very
yeah,
surreal.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
scary.
I mean,
And
I couldn't imagine. I couldn't
yeah,
imagine. Like, and I'm very grateful I am where I am,
right,
you know.
right. Yeah,
Um, and, just sending like extra love and light to America right now. Again, like, poor America.
yeah, we've been through it, right?
And it's
Right?
like
It's
it's
like a
not
whipping.
over.
I
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
I know.
yeah,
And I'm seeing Arlene. Hi, Arlene, and Hazel. Hi, Hazel. I see you
yeah. Hi,
guys there.
ladies.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much
yes,
for coming today.
yes.
And I
Yes.
appreciate you in Canada. I mean, you sent me that funniest meme on Facebook, you know, with that cat
Oh,
staring over at America. Oh God, Tina, that just made my day because it was a
oh,
really
good.
scary day.
Yeah.
And working in the, I have to say, I work at a law firm, as I've said before, and so I'm very familiar with working with the law, and we're talking about words matter, you know, and
Yeah.
words comprise our laws, you know. So when you see lawlessness, when you see words being taken so meaningless, you know, it's scary because how do you come back from that? How, what words do you use to calm down now? And
Yeah.
when words are just being thrown out there and slung out there like they're meaningless, you know.
Right. Right.
And so I
Yeah.
just want to, I don't know how to impress how important words are. You know, I'm a
Yeah.
reader, I'm a writer. Words are everything to us. They are so precious to us. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Yeah.
so when you
Exactly.
throw them away, what do you do?
Yeah, and I mean it's interesting because I mean that's our show's topic, you know, how words matter. This is a topic close to Julie's heart because, you know, she's got a writer's soul.
Yes,
And I mean our words, you know, they can create magic and they can create mayhem in our world. And it's interesting
absolutely.
because like, you know, all, you know, what happened at the Capitol last week, you know, was sparked by words.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that's a
Yes.
great example of the power our words hold and can create. And I mean, I'm not going to say like, you know, we all have our moments too, right? We're all human. And it's like, you know, sometimes, you know, we'll say things and we can't take our words back, but it's like,
Yeah.
okay, what words from that point can we say or share that will create healing? You know, that will
Yes.
create some sort of peace and
Right.
warmth and, you know, love. And it's like, you know, that's where I feel like, okay, we gotta sometimes step back from the words that are being shared or that we read because, you know, there's a lot that people are reading too right now. And it's
Yeah.
like, you know, sit with it. And it's like, you know, how does it make you feel inside? And what does it
Yes.
invoke? And you know, what do you want to be part of that word, you know, or words that are
Yes.
being shared? And
Right.
ironically, before, you know, because I feel like I'm going to give it back to you, it's like 2021, you know, when I look at it from a numerology point of view, it's a 5, and 5 is communication.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, like it is going to be a year, like one of the themes, because there's going to be many themes, but one of the themes is going to be about words and how we communicate and how we express. So a lot of us are going to be in this pool of like, we're going to have moments where we are going to say the wrong thing, but we are going to
Right.
say the right thing.
Right.
You know, so our words are going to come to attention this year. They are
Yeah.
going to matter.
Right. Look at my mom. My mom is here and she says, I love you with all my heart, my angel.
Oh,
So
that's very
how,
sweet.
right?
Is that for me
Words
too,
matter.
Doreen?
That, yes, it is. Right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
And Trina, your word is your wand.
yeah,
Absolutely it is. Right?
yeah,
It is. It's your wand. It's your magic wand. Words
right,
are like, you know, toothpaste. Once you squeeze it out of the tube, you can't put it back in. So we have to
right.
be so mindful of what's coming out of us too, you know? It
Yes,
matters what's coming out of us. What we
yeah.
are expressing matters. And tone and in this world of social media with Facebook and Twitter, when you're just reading, you know, I love to
Mm-hmm,
read, but
mm-hmm.
I put my own tone into things while I'm reading. You know, I put
Yeah,
my own emotion in there and my own. So people are doing that with words, you know, too. So
mm-hmm.
we have to be
Yes.
mindful of that.
That's right, right. And it's, I mean, and it's so easy to take words out of context, especially when you're reading it, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
that's a
we
big
do.
thing right now with Donald Trump because he's texting out these words to revolt and stand up to this lie that's
Yeah,
been proven over and over is not a lie.
right.
And You're right. And so he's weaponizing words. So you can weaponize words. Words are tools as a weapon, you know. So you and I have had this conversation about the saying, you know, words that we can't stand, buzzwords, you know, and there's a
Right.
saying, sticks and stones may break our bones, but words will never hurt us. That's so untrue. That's the most
Yeah.
false statement ever, right? Because
Yeah.
words lead to sticks and stones, breaking our bones. You know,
Yeah.
it's hurtful. It's important to know
Yeah.
what you're saying. So yeah.
That's right.
So yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And I do. I so dislike that saying. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't, I don't know if there's, that's a school, yeah, like a young kid thing that you learn in school at a young age. And I don't know if that's still circulating, if that's still
Yeah.
being shared, because
Right.
I'm not around, young kids, right?
Yeah.
And it's something I haven't, thought of asking, my teenage nephew or my niece, right? If that is something they've heard of
Yeah.
before or, have
But
used,
it is
because it feels,
dismissive. It's
hmm
dismissive of how you're feeling, right? You know, if
yeah,
somebody tells you you're fat and ugly and your mom tells you, well, don't worry about what they say, you know,
yeah,
I know what mom's saying, you know what I mean? Of course,
yeah,
she doesn't want you to hurt, you know, but
yeah,
it hurts. It
yeah,
hurts. So when you dismiss that hurt,
yeah, yeah, because that first, it makes an impact
exactly.
and it breaks your heart,
It does. It breaks
right?
your heart.
And it's also too, like, I find, like, when we look, let's say, at bullying,
Hmm.
how does it usually start? It starts with the words.
Right?
Like, it's very rare someone just comes up to you and shoves you or punches you
Pushes you.
without saying it. Yeah, usually it starts with words,
Of
right?
course. Of course. The
And that
interaction, you know?
and that's hard to erase because, you know, um, sometimes, we see ourselves through the eyes of another. So if the other is sharing something, saying something that is hurtful, you're going to take
Yeah.
that on,
Well, of course. Of
right?
course.
So we do have to
Yeah.
be mindful of our words.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because they can incite so much. So
yeah,
much. Hello, Vicky. How are
yeah,
you?
yeah,
And they incite anger too when someone's telling you you're being lied to. You're being lied to. I have proof you're being lied to. I
yeah,
can't show it to you right now, but I'm telling you you're being lied to. It's inciting this, you know, we're all questioning, we're all scared
yeah,
of being lied to because you don't have all the facts, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah,
when you start stoking that fire, that's a very scary game you're playing now.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that's the other thing too, because the five energy of 2021, because it's related to communication and words, it's like we also have to be mindful. So it's like there's going to be words that uplift us, but also words where they try to bring us down. And we have to be
Mm-hmm.
mindful of the lies because the five energy does
Mm-hmm.
carry, like, um, the energy of lying.
Yeah,
Um, and, like, I'm the type of person that, like, some lies are good, right?
yeah, right.
Because,
Little white
it's like,
lies. Yeah,
right, and, it's just better, for whatever reason, right?
yeah.
But there's also lies that do harm. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even though where I'm at and, and my beliefs and, being able to, being a psychic, it's like find my times having moments where it's like, I don't know who to believe right now,
Right.
because the argument, and it's argument after argument after
Yeah.
argument. So
Right.
there's times where it's like, what, I have to shut everything down and
Mm-hmm.
escape. It's like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
because I don't know who to believe. I don't know whose word to take, you know?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that's with everyone or with everything. It just depends. It just depends on the story or what's being told, right?
Right.
Depending on the subject
Yes.
matter. So I want to say, like, if there's anyone else out there that are feeling the same, just, it's okay. It's okay. Like,
Yeah.
maybe, that's not the time to, discern, like, what is what is believable or not. Maybe, just step away and take a break from it, right? And
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
because we're all imperfect, we are all imperfect. None of us have the answers to everything.
right. Yeah,
So if we
yeah,
can just say, yes, I am imperfect and I just don't know. I just don't know. It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah, 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 exactly, exactly. So we wanted to bring up, like, remind people. So we had said this activity, like, we mentioned this activity at the beginning of the year, I think, or was it at the end of December? I can't remember which show, but anyways, it was like the activity of, like, sitting down and picking your word for the year. And this is a
Yeah,
great time to do this month. So if you can't get it right away, check in every day and see, like, what word keeps coming to you. And it'll just be one word. It's not a phrase, it's not a sentence. It's not, it's one word. And that word is going to be like your theme for the year 2021. And it's
yeah.
fun, right? Like, it's
Oh, yeah.
fun. And you can write it down somewhere, like, or, whether it's on a piece of paper, like, make it colorful or make it pretty or make it fun. Something where
Yeah,
it reminds you, like, that's my word. And so that at the end of the year, you can sit back and reflect, like, how that word played into your life, how it
right.
weaved
I love it.
itself. And I mean, you'll even have, like, proof of it day to day, how that word
Yeah,
affects your
it
life or
does come
plays into
into your
your life.
life. Yeah,
Yeah,
it does.
yeah,
It presents itself in so many different ways too. When you're open
yeah,
up to one word, when you're
yeah,
focused on one word, it'll present itself to you over and over again.
yeah,
It's really
yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I took a very long time trying to find my word because my word for 2020 was peace, and I couldn't figure out what I wanted. I know I had this concept of words and why words meant so much to me. I've journaled for as long as I can remember learning how to write. I've kept a diary, I've kept video diaries, I've done all kinds of journaling throughout my lifetime because journaling helps me to formulate my thoughts and what I want to express
Mhm.
to the world, and it's very important to write those down. Sometimes, throughout my life too, after texting and Facebook when those came about too, I had a lot to say. I was right in there on the conversations with my own opinion and stuff. So I would write it all out and then I would delete it. But at least I wrote it all out, or resignation letters or letters to families that, have really upset me, or, I write it all out and then I
Mhm.
burn it, or I, delete it or whatever. And I just
Yeah,
find that very helpful. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Did you want to share, like, you want to share your word, or you feel you're not quite confident
Well,
enough?
I thought maybe I wasn't confident enough, but I was when we were talking about words matter, and I was thinking first maybe words is what I want to focus on, finding the right words, how to uplift, how to encourage, rather than suppress and scare. Fear. People are using words for fear mongering now, and
Yeah.
that's what creates these mob mentality because they're just scared. These people that are screaming and raging against the machine, they are simply scared of what their future holds. So we've got to pull
Mhm.
ourselves back into the present moment. That's kind of being lost in what our future is going to hold. And if we can hold ourselves in the present moment, there's so much magic in the present moment. It's the only time you can change anything is in the present moment. You can't change anything from the past. You can't change anything that's coming to us in the future, but you can change this present moment because you can change your thought.
Right,
So it's a simple concept that you can change anything in the present moment is the magic.
right, right.
So that's my word, is magic. I'm going to bring magic into 21 amongst this chaos and this seemingly unhopeful
That's
future that we
beautiful.
have right now.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's my
beautiful.
word, is magic. Yes.
Right. And I'm sure the universe is going to help a lot with your word
Think
and
so.
prove that's your word.
There
Because
is
that,
magic.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I believe in that. Yeah. Because I think this is what, how many years have you done this exercise, do you think?
I'd say about, I think 3 years is
Yeah,
what I can
me
really
too.
consciously think. Yeah.
Yeah,
3
yeah.
years.
This will be my third year. Yep.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
at first I was like, I don't know, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure because, that was like an exercise in tandem with your vision board. And
Hmm.
I'm not dismissing vision boards, but vision boards don't work for me.
Yeah, me either.
I mean, I will make a vision board and it's like maybe one, two things will come because I try
Hmm.
to incorporate, little things and the big dreams, right? And it's like, no, they
Yeah.
don't. But the word, has worked every year, and I'm like
Definitely.
totally, I love it, and I believe in
Hmm.
it.
Me
Yeah.
too.
So,
I've done
so
it
I
ever since.
recommend
Yeah.
everyone listening. Yeah. So sit down, um, and feel out, like, see what word comes to you, because
Yeah.
yeah, and you'll know.
Yeah. You'll know. It just
I don't know
comes
how
to
to
you in
describe it. Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
Like you'll know, and you'll question it. You'll be like, what, and don't dismiss the word, because sometimes it may not be what we hope it will be, like, or
Yeah.
think it'll be. It'll just show. Yeah.
And I've learned to be very careful with it because my word for 2019, the first year I had done this, was rebirth. I loved the
Oh,
word rebirth. I wanted to reshape the way I thought about, reality itself. I wanted to be more spiritual and be more open. So I rebirth was the only thing that kept coming to, it just kept coming to the forefront, even though I was in some classes about rebirth. It was a big word then too, for some reason,
great.
but it kept sticking
Yeah.
with me. But I came to find out that it kept showing itself to me over and over in 2019, these rebirths, and I was like, well, shit.
Yeah. And it was
I'm
and it
going to
was a
be
tough.
really careful.
Yeah, and it was a
Yeah,
tough year for you, and it made
very
sense
tough
because
year.
you were like rebirthing a
Yeah,
lot of
I
stuff.
really was.
So it's like you
It
had
was a
certain
good word.
relationships. Yeah, you had certain relationships and events that were crumbling, ending
Yes,
in,
yes,
however they were, a part of your life.
right.
And it's like you were rebirthing them. And that was
Yes,
hard because it was like for you, you were like your foundation had crumbled and you were like, like not clawing, but it's like you were, making your way back up, and it was in a different way this time. It's like,
completely.
you
You're
were
right.
emerging, right? So it was
Yes.
challenging. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
are so right about that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I look back at that time, I call it the great rejection, because I went through a lot of rejection and betrayals, and
Yeah.
in my experience, what I
Yeah.
was going through
Yeah.
anyway. And I had to literally rebirth myself. How do I feel? And it was all about relationships for me. It was all about relationships for me, and all the way down to my mother-daughter relationship. The way I was a mom, really was rocked for me. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I
So
can
this
say
explains
that.
my piece.
Yeah. And if people are wondering like how I know, it's because I know Julie's story from that year. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I went
right.
to you so
Yeah.
many times. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, you were
Yeah.
my savior during those times.
Oh, thank.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's
Absolutely.
funny, 2019, my word was release.
Yeah.
And I did, like, I had to release a lot, on every level. So materially, physically, like I was letting go of items, um, spiritually, emotionally, like it was, yeah. Because
Yeah.
2019, I cried a
Right.
lot. I released a lot of tears. I like, yeah, it was
You
like,
did. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember.
yeah. In 2020, what was your word? Do you remember?
Peace.
Peace. Oh, right,
Because
you
I
said
had
that.
been through such chaos. Yeah. So I
Yeah,
just wanted peace. And I really did get it. It
yeah,
showed itself to me over and over in and especially at work too, because I really do like my job. I really enjoy my
hmm,
job and helping people through this death transition that we all have to go through, in
yeah,
families. And so I really do enjoy that. So I did get a lot of peace in
yeah,
2020
yeah.
personally.
And then it worked out too because it was like, such, um it was such a big year, 2020, like, everything that was coming out or happening, right? And it's like you maintained your peace through it all. Like, I'm
That's
proud of
it.
you, Julie.
Thank
Like,
you.
all the things that were happening, from the
Yeah.
outside world, and you managed to keep like, nope, I'm just like,
Oh,
keeping the peace,
right.
right? And
Good.
that's not easy. That's not easy.
No.
It's so easy to let, the outside world, like stories and people, affect our well-being, our peace of mind, our
Yeah.
peace of heart, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not easy to hold on to your word
No.
either. It's really not. You have to really work at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
mom's word is kindness. I
That's a
like
good
that, mom.
word. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So
she
I'm
is so
sure.
kind.
Well, and you know what too? So with Doreen, with her word, it's like the universe is going to hold you to that word. Like
Yeah.
you're going to have situations and people, they're going to maybe push your buttons, Doreen, and you're going to have to come back with kindness. So be aware of that. I'm not saying like trying to make
No,
it,
she's had to do that that should have been her 2020 word because
I'm not trying
she's shown real kindness. Yeah.
share I guess the bad side of it, or like not
Oh,
trying to discourage, but it's just like, I just want you to be aware because
yeah.
yeah. Do you
Oh,
guys want to
yeah.
know? Should I remind everyone my word of
Sure.
this year? It's
Yes.
humble.
Love it.
And I made this. I know I'm not into vision boards, but I thought, no, first I wrote out my word on this little, board.
Yeah.
And then it was interesting because we had a bonfire New Year's Eve, and I thought, I'm burning all my vision boards.
I loved it.
It's like I'm releasing them. Like I'm gonna, yeah. So when I was getting ready to put the vision boards in the fire, a couple of pieces of the pictures fell off on the ground at
Right.
my feet. So I thought, like, maybe this is a sign. Maybe this is like, I'll add
Right.
it to my word and it'll come. Maybe this is the year I'll get these. And it's like just a little kitty cat. Whoops, kitty
Love
cat.
it. Yes, I know.
Vehicle. And then travel the world is interesting because it's like, I wonder how
Yeah.
that's going to work out because of COVID, right?
Yeah. Right. But we're
Um,
getting vaccines and we'll be able to travel the world soon
Trina
here.
shared her word. Yeah, you guys,
Yeah, I was
whoever's
looking
listening,
at
share
this.
your words if you want to,
Yes, I
because
love it, Trina.
and tantric, that's interesting.
Tantric.
Wow,
Look at that.
that feels very powerful. And yes,
Yes, it
because what is it? Tantric has this notion of being sexual, right? Doesn't it?
does it?
I
What
don't
is
know. Does
tantric?
it? Am
I
I?
know. I'm gonna
I don't.
freaking Google it.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
Tantric.
Trina can share. Maybe I'm.
Yeah, what does it mean?
So that feels really powerful. Like I want to go here, like the heart, and it's a heart connection, that word.
Yeah, it really is. I don't know why, but it does hit me in my heart.
She
Maybe
said,
it
yes,
because
it is sexual. So anyways,
there
that's
you
fine.
go.
But I don't feel it totally means that, right? Like I feel it's not just about this, the sexual
Well,
meaning
tantra,
of it,
yeah, right?
right?
It's something about a whole body, uh, I guess, orgasm, I
Right. Oh,
guess,
so Trina agrees. She says, yeah, people assume tantric sex, but it's way
Yeah.
more. Yes, yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with
it's a
that. Yeah.
whole body, like an experience, like a
Yeah.
spiritual experience. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I feel like
Yeah,
it has to do with life force, right? Yeah. That's a
yeah.
powerful. Wow, Trina.
That's
I like
wonderful.
that. Good word. Yeah. That's a good one.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I
Um,
lost our feed now.
oh no. But I
That's
still
all right.
see you and hear you.
Oh, good, good. Okay. As long as you can
Yeah.
see me and hear me. Yes.
Yeah. So what
Yeah.
about words that um, irritate us? Because that happens,
Yes. Trigger
right?
words. Yes. I have a bunch of
Mhm.
them. Yes. What's one of yours?
Okay, so not so much anymore, but in the past, karma was,
Really?
mhm. And because I do not like that word at all. And I, and the reason why, because I sat with this, because it's like, why don't I
Why
like
karma?
the word karma, right? And when I sat
Hmm.
with it, it was like, because everyone uses it and they're abusing the word.
Hmm. Yeah. They don't
So I
understand it.
feel like not so much now because I feel like the collective has moved on to a new word, and I'm going to share that in a few minutes because I'm feeling
Yes.
irritated just thinking of that word coming in. But
Right?
but karma, it's been like I think misconstrued, misused. and it
Yeah.
doesn't have that light and love energy like it used to have.
Yeah.
But I feel like karma's on the way out the door. Like people don't use karma so much now. So the word that really irritates me right now is awakening. The
Yes.
combination awakening, awake, awaken. Oh,
Yes.
does that ever get my goat? That's how I want to put it right now.
Right.
Because I feel like everyone's jumped on board. Everyone is
Yeah.
saying like awaken, like it, and it's again, this is a word that it's being I'm seeing it being misused, abused, misconstrued. I don't know, like maybe I'm wrong, like maybe those who know me or that are listening think like Tina, like don't get so worked up. No, like it's not like that. But that's how I feel. Like I just feel
Yeah.
like, nobody, it's like very accusatory too right now.
Yes, it
Like
is.
it's got like a
Very.
violent connotation to it. Like it's not, for me, it's not a love and light
Yeah.
term anymore.
No, because it implies that others are sleeping. It implies that others don't get it, and there's nothing that irks me more than for people to imply that they have access to information, especially spiritually, that I don't have access to.
Right.
And or that no one has access to but them. They're special, or they're, nothing irks
Right.
me more than a furu, I call them. It's just a
Right.
right. Yeah. And it occurs in every community. You have these furus that claim to be able to give me money and I can promise you heaven, and it's just silly to me. I don't understand that term awakening. We're all on the same awakening path as a collective. So it's
Yeah.
just, that irks me too. I can't stand the word.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know anyone else out there feels the same way. Like you guys share away in the chat room. We've got people sharing. That's great. But I
Yes.
just I just feel like it's like, the way it's being used, it's like they're trying to put people in their place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or like, or
Suppress.
make you
Yeah.
feel, yeah, or make you feel lesser than. And it's like,
Yeah.
people, I want to say like people, and it's like people will look at what they want to look at. And there's going to be a variety of reasons why. So it's like if let's say, I might have the understanding, like I know there is child abuse happening, right? Like I
Right.
know that.
Exactly right.
And I'm not, and I don't like that. I don't like that it's happening, right?
Right.
But because I don't, let's say maybe, I don't make the conscious choice of like, I'm going to read every story on child abuse, doesn't mean
Right.
I'm asleep. Like,
Right.
like that I
Yes.
haven't awakened to the fact that there's child abuse.
That's
It's
exactly right, Tina.
because it's very upsetting to me. And it's like, I don't want to hear those stories because for whatever reason, I have my own reasons too. It's not because I'm trying to deny it or ignore it.
No, you're
It's
censoring
just,
yourself. Yes.
yeah, and it's like, I want to help these people maybe, but the way I want to help them may not be the
That's
traditional way
right.
or like everyone else. So because of that, it's like, people are going to say like, I'm not awakened or I'm not awakening. You know what I mean? Like, and
Right.
people
I
will go
do.
down that road. There will be certain people that will go down that road.
Right. Well,
So
because the only way you can help them is to find kindness in everyday people that you meet every day, to show them compassion, kindness, because you don't know if they're the ones going home abusing or have been abused. So
yeah,
that's the only way you can help, right? Is in that present moment, in today, the only way I can help a child being abused is to find kindness in my heart for the stranger in the grocery store who's maybe having a hard time
yeah,
right now. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And help them so that they don't go home and hurt their family, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's the only thing I can do.
yeah,
If I just continue to scream, there's child abuse happening, no, there's child abuse happening, how does that help?
yeah,
How does that help?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know?
because yeah, yeah. And it's,
So
I mean,
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
we
there's
just,
this notion that we're asleep, or we're in denial, or if you don't, if you don't see that they're a bad person, then you just don't know what's happening, or but you're rationalizing in your own mind of what you feel about that. But if you focus on that, it's very hard to look at evil and not become evil yourself. It is. If you want
Yeah.
to understand evil, if you want to understand evil and how it works, you're opening yourself up for that, to understand it. Well, how do you not become a part of it? We need to find a way to become part of the solution instead of just pointing out the problem,
Yeah.
and screaming what the problem is not a solution.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So,
Like I think right now too, like, some some groups are, screaming or like saying like, wake up, politics, like to the politics, right? And it's like, what,
right,
people? For how many years has politics not been clean?
right, right.
You
It's
know,
always been corrupt.
it's
Yes,
always
I
been
do.
corrupt. So I feel like for them to say like, wake up to the it's like, you know what?
Where have
I
you
think
been?
I think a lot of people know
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
But it's just like, okay, what about, so what are we going to do about it? That's the thing.
Where's the
That's where I
solution?
feel like
Yeah.
this is the stage in life. This decade is about like, what are we going to do about these things then? That's all
Yeah.
fine and dandy.
Yeah.
But we
Right.
have to, yeah, but we have to
Solutions.
solutions. And it's like, and I don't mean like a solution like, let's storm the Capitol building,
That's
like
not
it
never
has,
a solution.
no,
Right.
no. Solutions where it's like, okay, why don't we try this idea of this kind of government,
Yeah.
and it doesn't mean like we have to say yes to it, but it's something to consider. So I feel instead of everyone being on the bandwagon of awaken or awakening or being awake, I'd rather
Mhm.
much use the word open and opening.
I like it. Yes.
That feels a lot gentler,
Yes.
more loving, right? So it's like,
Yes.
you're just saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to open myself to the idea. And
Yes.
it's just so what you're doing is like, I'm just looking, getting a
Right.
sense, I'm feeling things out. And then it's like, that gives you the option to close the door because sometimes it's like you're not ready or you don't like it or you don't agree with it, whatever. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, absolutely, I agree with
Yeah.
that. And there are trigger words too. Everyone has them too. Like mom saying Donald Trump, or the word Trump is a trigger word for her too, because you're associating. Another thing that we need, a word that bothers me, is victim. There's this
Oh,
victim worshiping going on of who the bigger victim is. This whole thing over Donald Trump is because he feels like he's a victim. You know,
mm,
and so this victim mentality, which is just arguing for your own limitations of why you can't do something, it is really what that is. But we need to stop this worshiping of who's the bigger victim here. We're all
yeah,
victims of this. Now we're the victims because the Capitol's been stormed. So we're just going to go from victim to victim, or are we going to find a solution here to stop being victims? How do we empower ourselves out of victimhood?
yeah, 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 yeah. And it's interesting because it's like their cause was in the name of freedom.
Right.
And it's like, okay, now there's going to be consequences.
Right.
Right?
So now we got more laws and more laws.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sure, going to be more
Right.
laws or restrictions because of what they did. And then their freedoms are going to be taken away
And
because
then
it's
it's
like,
self-fulfilling. Right.
so it's just, I find it really, I don't know if ironic, but just,
It is. It's hypocrisy at its finest is what it
yes,
is, because
yes,
you're running in a building with your guns and your anger, saying you're stop taking away our freedoms.
yeah,
That's well,
yeah,
there they go, because now none of us are going to be allowed near the Capitol for the next God knows how long.
right,
So that's gone for us. Just
right.
it's just you're shooting yourself in the foot. You are going against your own self-interest.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And then it, brings up like, because everyone thinks like our freedom is on the line right now.
Mhm.
And that's understandable. Like I can see why people would think that because of the words that are being shared, the
Exactly
different
right.
stories circulating, right? And it's like sometimes I feel like, okay, we have to take a step back. And it's like, what what does freedom truly mean in this day and age?
Right.
You
Oh,
know,
yes. Yes.
and
To be
it's
free
like,
thinkers. Yes.
so it's like, freedom to be me,
Yes.
freedom to have like, I'm sure a lot of people say like to have a good life, and everyone that's going to mean something different, right?
Yeah. Right.
Um,
Freedom. I mean, there are people in bondage that have more freedom than people who are not. It's freedom is a state of mind, and
yeah,
that's all it is. So, if you're not free, you need to change your state of mind,
that's right.
and that's really what it is.
Yeah, yeah, and I think and then like all that's happening and all these theories that are circulating in the name of freedom, it's like, well, I feel it doesn't carry the energy of freedom
No, it's not. No, it's
because
more bondage.
it feels like it puts me in a place of like, this is upsetting.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
what do
Scary.
we do? What does that mean? Is this
Yeah.
really true? Like, so it's like all these evoking all these emotions and thoughts and it's
But
like,
if we can stay in the present moment once again, we're trying to predict the future and what the future will hold for us. And
right?
it's just so dangerous to do so because we have the today. And are you free today? Are you free? It's a good question. Are you free?
Yeah.
And if you're not, where are you being held down? Where are your bonds coming from? They're probably self-imposed, is what the
Mm-hmm.
answer to that is.
Mm-hmm.
So, Trina's trigger word is can't, right, Trina? I can't do that. That's a victimhood mentality, right?
Yeah.
I can't because.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good trigger
Yeah.
word.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
can. Yes, we can. Remember Barack Obama? Yes, we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bring that back.
Yeah.
It's
No.
very limiting. It is.
Yeah.
Once again, you're arguing for your own limitations when you say I can't. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And it feels like we're denying.
it
We're
does.
denying. Yeah.
We could switch that to how can I? How
Yeah.
can I, right?
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, or the other thing is like want, like there's a big difference like if between can't and don't want to, right?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
don't want to is like, you it's not, you don't have it in your heart to follow through with it. But can't is like saying like you're not able to do it. And it's like, well, who says so? Like, yeah, give it a
Yeah.
try. Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. You're really saying I don't want to.
yeah.
Absolutely. Because you can do anything. So you're
Mm-hmm.
absolutely saying I don't want to do that. And
Won't,
maybe that's
yeah,
a good thing, for you. Maybe.
yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, can't and yeah, won't. Because where there's a will, there's a way, right? That's
Yeah, yeah,
exactly right.
yeah.
Yeah.
um there's this writer that I follow, and I was reading he writes an article once a week, every week.
Yes.
And anyways, I made note of one of the things that he wrote in his article, and it was that misinformation spreads 6 times faster than
Wow.
fact. And that's just mind blowing.
Yeah.
Like that is
Yeah.
huge.
It's huge. That is so true too. We can see it in our everyday lives that gossip spreads much much faster. It happens in every area, right? It does. It
Yeah.
spreads so fast.
And that aligns so much with, the subject of words matter.
Yeah.
And, this being the year of communication. So everyone needs to be mindful of like, what you read or hear. Um, it's don't always take it at face value. And I think that's one of the things we're going to discover this year. And it's not always going to be easy. Like we're going to at times learn the hard way. Like it's going to flub us up big time at, at times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
because your foundations start to get rocked a little bit, and because you do start finding out things you thought were valid and true maybe are not. It's kind of shocking. It's a shock wave for everybody, and worldwide. The whole world is experiencing this right now. We can see that. You and I, especially being in Canada and in the US, you don't have the political tensions that we have, but the COVID conversation is worldwide. It really
Yeah.
is. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I want to go with there, like, we are neighbors, and I'm finding in Canada, like, especially since Trump got in, it's like there's some Canadians that are latching onto the same
Mm-hmm.
mentality of the Trump supporters. So it's like they're like, well, if they can do it in the States and get away with it, because that's what's happening. It seems
Yeah.
like you're getting, Trump's getting
Oh,
away
yeah.
with so much. It's like, why
Absolutely.
don't we try that here?
Yeah. It starts this whole uprising
You know?
worldwide. And then
So
it's
yeah,
funny because that's part of QAnon too. QAnon's real big right now. Everyone's heard of this
right.
QAnon, of course, worldwide, and it's a worldwide uh,
Hmm.
group.
Yeah.
So, but that's another trigger word for me is this QAnon, because
Mm.
that's all they're spreading is gossip. They have no proof of anything that they're saying, but it goes like you said, like wildfire through the masses
Mm.
of you're being lied to. And when you're told you're being lied to, you're going to look into that. And
Yeah.
so you are, and you're looking into that and you're like, well, yeah, that was a lie. Well, yeah, you'll find whatever you're looking for, you'll find.
Yeah.
So let's look for solutions and stay in the present moment. Don't try to predict the future too much with all these words being slung around, and be very mindful of the words coming out of your mouth. Just find your filter too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's almost like you want to say choose your words carefully this year, but I think at times it's going to be hard,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Because you're triggered. Yeah.
Well, not only that, but it's like you'll find moments like you'll be spontaneous, because that's another thing about the five energy is spontaneity and being surprising, shocking. Like it's not a planning energy. So
Yeah.
it's like at times you'll just like blah, blah, blah from the top of your head, or, blah, blah, blah from your heart, and it'll be
Yeah.
wonderful. So it's like, at times we just have to maybe give ourselves a break and,
Yeah. And write
don't
it
always
out
take the
first.
words,
Write it
yeah,
out.
or don't always take the words to heart, or if you do, try to heal it in some way, or find different words, that will be uplifting or help you out of that,
Yeah.
momentum of, of it making you
Yeah.
feel bad or being destructive. So yeah,
Another
if that
thing,
makes
a
sense.
tool, yeah, it does. It does. And another good tool too is try to bring yourself into the broader perspective. There's always a broader perspective going on at all times. And the thinking right now is very myopic. It's very like they have blinders on, me too, because I'm scared. So I don't want to hear anything that's going to scare me more, so we all have these
Right.
kind of blinders on. So when you pull yourself out to the broader perspective of society and laws and concrete truths, that we
Yeah.
have decided are truths by our laws. What is your country if not your laws? People, we have immigration policy because people want to come here for our laws. So when you start demeaning those laws and making them meaningless, there goes America, there goes Canada without Canada's laws.
Yeah.
Every country is built upon its laws and its own
Yeah.
constitutional laws,
Yeah.
so, and that's up for interpretation for everybody. That's why we have judges, that's why attorneys focus on words so carefully, the words they're choosing, because you can just like the Bible, you can interpret in so
That's
many
right.
different ways, so the law's to be interpreted. Absolutely, it's to be interpreted. It's to be debated and talked about, and then a trial by jury by 12 of your peers in America to to have different perspectives so that you're not all looking through these blinders because you're scared, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's for a reason, you know? So let's all pull out to the broader perspective of humankind for a little bit instead of our own fears, because they're fear mongering too. They're telling you, you know, believe this or this will happen to you. And that's not a free thinker. We've got to be free thinkers again. We've got to be able to critically think as well, you know,
Yeah.
rationale and does this make sense? You know, why, what are you fighting for? You know, I don't even know. I really not even sure why they burst into the Capitol, except for they wanted to overturn one of the US laws that we are allowed to elect a president, you know? So how are you a patriot at this point? I just don't even understand, you know? So pull yourself out to the broader perspective of humankind, and then maybe we can work on your own personal goals.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's scary here. I mean, the 20th is coming up, and I have this notion. My grandma taught me this when I was very little, is to imagine yourself encompassed with a white light around you, a bubble of protection, a white light of protection around you at all times when you're feeling scared. And I carry that with me to this day. I constantly
Yeah.
encompass me and those I love. You know, you're in that bubble, Tina, and I
Yeah.
wrap us all in this
Yeah.
white light. Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe in that too. I believe in protection, light, prayer. What? Yeah. Cause I
Yes.
feel it works. I really do. So those are like, look at that's using words in a enlightening
Yes.
way, right?
Yes. I love it. Yes.
Um, there was something I was going to say and I lost it. Darn
It's
it.
probably good.
Yeah.
Good.
I know there's also the I don't know how many people have heard of this, but our words are spells,
Yeah. I like
right?
that.
And when you think
Yes.
about that, it's like yes, and especially the words that we repeat over and over, it's like chanting a spell.
Yes.
So
Mantras. I
that's
love
yeah.
mantras.
So that's why yes, and it's like the meditation of the week that's put out every Sunday. Like it's a mantra, and it's like that's why it's like I try to encourage readers that to like use that mantra time and time again during that week, because
Yeah.
the more you
I love
do,
it.
the more you invite that energy, and the more like it becomes a part of your energy, your being.
Yeah.
The other thing too, I want to say that's what I wanted to share was like I find like two of the power words, and I know a lot of people will agree on this, is I am,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
I like that.
um, because it's like you're making that statement, and you're like those two words are the start of what you're inviting or what you're embracing for
Yeah.
yourself and for your life, right? So if you say like I am stupid, the
Mm-hmm.
more often you say it, the more it becomes true. Like that's my belief, right?
Yes. Of
You
course.
believe
Yeah.
that too, right? Whereas if you say like
Yes.
I am light and love, the more you say
Mm-hmm.
it to
Right.
yourself, the more it becomes. That's my belief. So yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I was
Right. So
chanting
that's
that
just
all
a
through
reminder.
2020. I am
Yeah.
peaceful. I
Right.
am powerful. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Very powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are words of upliftment and do bring us to that next level. We can build on those words, you know, and have a foundation of that now. Let's build
Yeah.
these new foundations now of new empowering words
That's
that
right.
uplift us.
Yeah, and if I'm going to recommend anything to the viewers, it's like latch or read, listen to those words that make you feel good and empower you, and you feel like they embrace your heart and soul in a divine light
Yes.
and love way, right? Because there
Oh,
are words
yes.
that there's fighting words, right? And it's like, okay, do those fighting words, do they invoke light and love in you, or they just make you want to fight more,
Yes,
right?
exactly
Because
right.
I'm just tired of fighting. I'm tired, and it's like I just feel like we're just starting, like, and it's like,
I agree with you, but
yeah,
since we're so tired of fighting, I can't imagine we're alone. There's got to be a
yeah,
lot of people like us that are just tired of fighting. I don't really care what your
yeah,
argument is anymore. I really
yeah,
don't.
yeah, yeah, and I don't want it. Yeah, and I don't want it about the same thing about taking sides
Yeah,
or trying to decide who's right, who's wrong. What it's
right.
what they're saying, is it true or not? It's like, what, you guys, can we just go down a path and start improving upon, or start creating
Yes. Yes. I'm
brighter
tired
and
of
better
waiting.
things?
Yes.
It's like,
Yes. We
okay,
can.
so if this system's not working, like, who's on board to improve upon it, and what does that look like, and what does that mean? And it's like, okay, because there's going to be a group of people like, yeah, I'm on board, and it's like, let's tweak it, or let's, like,
Yeah.
you know
Right.
create it. And when you're in the state of creation, it's going to take on different forms, and it's going to go different ways, right? But that's where I
Yes.
want to go this year.
Me too.
you know
Right?
and I want it to be a wash in love and light. That's the other thing, right? Because I want it to feel good along the way. And it's like, if there's a problem that's encountered, or like something where it's a challenge, it's like, but we can overcome this because it's got love and
Yeah.
light attached to it. It's like, okay, and then we just
Right.
keep on going, right? That's the kind of year I want. I want
I
it.
do too.
Yeah.
I want us to remember that we need each other, we really do. I had a client come in not so long ago. They were hesitant to wear masks and they had Trump hats on, but they were there because they were worried about what was going to happen. They wanted to set up a will and a trust, and I sat there being very compassionate with them because there were two people sitting in my office worried about not having enough to leave to their children, or what would their children do. They were scared of that. Well, what a human thing. So
Yeah.
I was so easily able to overlook what they were wearing or not wearing, because I'm human. I'm human. I understand that death is scary. It's scary to look at,
Yeah.
and it's the unknown, and everyone's afraid of the unknown. And that's what the
Yeah.
future is. It's unknown. So it's kind of fear mongering to say that we're headed for this. That's a fear mongering term, because we
Yeah.
could be headed for anything. Energy changes so quickly, as we
That's
know.
right.
The energy of
Yeah.
love can take off on us this year, and it would be a welcome, unexpected, joyful thing, but it can happen. It can.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. Yes, I was reading a saying this morning. Life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. That saying.
Mm.
I've heard that before. It's very true right now, because I feel like I've been waiting so long now for life to come back to normal, to have some kind of routine or feel safe. I feel like I've been waiting to feel safe again, and so I have to learn. I have to teach myself. You are safe. You're
Right.
safe right now. You're safe, and
Hmm.
bring myself back into this moment. So
Yeah.
that's what I think. So let's get out of the future. Let's get our heads and noses out of the future and focus on today.
Mm. Very good.
Right? And do some positive affirmations. Trina's been on fire today with the
Yeah. Yeah.
conversation. I
Trina's been,
love it.
yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Trina. It's interesting because every show there's always someone
Yeah,
different that steps
I
up.
love
I
that.
feel like
I
they step
love
up and
that.
they share. And yeah, we appreciate that. We appreciate,
Yeah,
the viewers, like,
that's what adds.
being part of
Right.
the conversation, because we want people to add. It's like, we're not the experts here.
No, by any
We're not
means.
better than anyone here. We just want
Right.
to like try to bring up conversations or add to the conversation that will enlighten us, and
Yes.
invoke, like, maybe solutions or some sort of peace,
Yeah.
some sort of promise. Like, yeah, that's what we're trying to
I
do. So
I want a community. I
mm,
miss a community. Communities disappeared with social media and all this tension. You know, there's no sense. Do you remember a couple of years ago it was find your tribe? Find
right.
your tribe. Because nobody felt like they belonged in their community, you know, and so it was
Yeah.
find your tribe. So they went outside their community to find community. It's not working. It's not
No,
working.
no, because that's one of the reasons why I signed up for that course that we both met
Me
on,
too. Me
was because
too.
I felt alone in the world, and
Me too.
not in the sense like, you know, it's like, I'm having a hard time finding like-minded people, or I'm feeling like I don't fit in, right?
Right. Me
And
too.
that did not, because that's one of the things they promised. I'm not
Right.
going to name names, right? Like, you're going to find a tribe here. And it's like, well, if I'm going to say yes, I did find my tribe, was like Julie. I let
Exactly
us
right.
feel each other, right?
Yes,
But
you did.
it's interesting because that group I find is quite quiet. Like, there's not a lot of engagement, and it's like I don't know how many people in that group met up,
Yeah, I
or
know.
have or formed a
Right.
relationship or friendship or a tribe. I don't know. I can't say for sure.
Well, I feel like it just got confused with like-minded beings. You know what I mean? Like your political affiliation became your tribe, and that's such a narrow part of your life, or it should be. It
Yeah,
should be a very small part of your life of what political
yeah,
party you belong to.
right,
And
right.
it's the only thing that matters to some people. If you are on the other side of them on the political, they want nothing to do. So it's not a community. Your political affiliation is not a community. It's just not. I'm
No,
sorry if they lied to you and told you it was, but it's not. It's
yeah,
not. This could be a community. It could be a community with contributions and
right,
ideas and
right,
right.
right. Yeah, 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 yeah. And community should, I want to say, should involve every number according to numerology.
Yes, right?
So, yeah, so there's 12 numbers in numerology, and it's like your community should have, at least one person from every number be represented,
I love it.
because they're going to contribute and they're going to share things that will enhance or help everyone grow. You may not always agree or see eye to eye, and that's going to be the truth of it, but
Right.
that's how
Neither
we
did
keep
the
going.
apostles, you know?
That's right. So
The
that's,
12 apostles.
yeah, yeah, and it would be amazing. Like, I mean, they don't have date of births back then, right? We don't know their date of birth, but I'm
Right?
almost curious, like, on a numerology point of view, was every
Yeah.
number represented in that group?
I bet. I bet that's a universal
Yeah.
thing. I bet it was.
Hmm. Yeah. Wouldn't
Yeah, we
that be
need
something?
representation.
Hmm.
Oh, yes, right? How
Yeah.
magical.
Yeah. So I love that, Julie. And like, that's, for January, it's a 6 month. And one of the things I think I said was community was going to be, family
You
community
did.
was going to be
Yeah.
important this month. So I like how
Yeah.
you keep bringing that up. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I want this group, our show, to create community, and I want people to feel like they're part of a
Part of
community.
it.
And
Yes.
right, and you can be yourself in this group, right? And we're going to try not
Yes.
to downplay what you have to share or what you believe in, right? So,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. I will not judge you. I will not. I'm really interested in you. I really am. And
Hmm.
I think we can come up with any idea, any solution together. And
Yeah.
any solution comes from community. So, yes.
Yeah.
So,
And
thank you,
support each
Karina.
other. And it's about supporting, right? Yeah. So if someone's
Yes.
struggling, like, oh, well, I'm struggling with, you know, um, let's say I'm struggling with, breaking away from the conspiracy theorists, or I'm struggling with breaking away from, the science of it, like whatever it is, right? I
Yeah,
want that person to feel like they can come, part of this group,
absolutely.
and it's like, okay, let's try to figure this out together, or what kind of support do you need, or why is that,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Let's help each other through
Hmm.
life.
Yeah, yeah. let's
We all need
let's
it.
use how about, okay, my final thought before we leave will be like,
Yes.
let's use our words to help and heal one another this
Yes.
year.
Yes. I vow that. I
right?
will
So
use
when we,
my words to help heal. Yes.
yeah, so it's like when we hear certain words, it's like how, we should stop and say, how is this helping?
Right.
Or
Yes.
how
How
is
is
this
this helping? I
healing?
love that.
Or how is this
Yes.
healing? And if it doesn't, then goodbye,
Let it go.
right? Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Hmm.
If it's not helping anyone, let it go. And it's not healing anyone. Healing, it was what so desperately needed right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, if it's not healing, let's let it go. Yes,
Yeah.
and come to each other for this community. I love that. Maybe that's my word, community. Okay, a magical community.
It can only be one. So you know what? Maybe Julie, your word hasn't come yet because you
Maybe
keep
not.
wavering, and that's okay. Like that's a good example.
Right?
So Julie is demonstrating because there's going to be some people out there that are going to say like, I don't know what my word is, and I get
Right?
this, and then I get that. So Julie is like your example, and I'm the example where I don't know why that is. It's like me. It was like ding, and
Right?
yes, I did question it. I questioned like humble. That's like a boring word,
I
or that
loved
doesn't
your
seem
word.
spectacular. But I mean, I it's presenting itself. I like I said to you last night, I was like, that word humble's been presenting to me, if not every day, every other day.
Right? I love
Yeah.
that.
And it's not like I'm consciously looking for it. It's like whatever unfolds in my day or whatever I've encountered, it's like, oh my gosh, that's related to humble or
You're
yeah.
right.
So yeah, so
I love it.
don't, yeah. So I guess, if I'm going to give anyone homework this week, it's like try to figure out or try to sense what is your word for the year this week and give
Well, at
yourself
least it
a week.
starts.
Yeah.
Yes, give yourself the week. And it starts this thought process of words too. And I really want people to focus on words themselves, and what are you expressing and how are you expressing it,
Mhm.
and just be mindful of what you're saying because words matter. They're magical things. They really are. They can uplift and encourage and inspire. Before every war, there's always the war speech. It's always,
Mhm.
well, not today. There's those are words that they're using.
Yeah.
So just know that words matter, and be very, very thoughtful of what you're expressing.
Beautifully said. Love that.
Thank you.
Wise words. Wise
Yeah.
words.
Well, thank you.
Okay, and thank you, Chena. Chena just said like humble's a blessed word. Oh, yeah, I feel that
Yes.
too. Like I've been like, yeah, really noticing it is a blessing, my word of the year. So far, so good. It will be. It'll be good for the year.
It will.
All right. Well, I think that will be it for the show today. Thanks everyone for joining. That was here live, and it is recorded, so can be viewed at a later time. And just a quick reminder, as you can see throughout the whole show, it was scrolling below, like how to find enlightened energy. And then Julie, if anyone wants to contact Julie, like if you want a card reading or have something to say, I guess. I don't know. Julie's
Right?
pretty
Any
open.
questions? I'm
Yeah,
open. Yeah.
yeah. There's Julie's email.
Just email me and say hi.
Yeah. And then if anyone wants to get in touch with me, whether it's for a reading or have something to share, that's my email. Because we don't post our phone numbers publicly.
Yeah, that
So
would be a
yeah,
nightmare. I get so much
yeah.
spam as it is.
Yeah, yeah. So everybody, yeah. So have a divine week. Take
Yes.
care. Take care, everyone, and be well
Yes.
and
Thank
safe.
you.
Okay, thanks,
Thank you,
Julie.
Tina. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.